Guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is going to be Winners Bracket Round 3 from Starcon 2025 out of Philadelphia. This is going to be on Deja Vu, which I haven't seen in a minute, at least in this tournament. Bottom right hand corner, Styker starting as the blue Zerg. Bottom left hand corner, we got Father starting as the yellow Terran. Deja Vu, you've got the lower ramp leading to the very wide natural expansion. Then you have the third base, which is somewhat segregated by bridge. And the other big aspect of it is usually when you have kind of 4-player maps, there's a lot of open area and quadrants you can grab. You get very easily locked into quadrants with these bridge lines. You can see where you end up with a split up attack force, and a single army here can hold both directions depending on who ends up with positioning here. That being said, Styker, this is one of those situations where I'll be interested to see how Father does, but Styker is the much better player than Father, and hopefully he doesn't take offense to that, but that's just, Styker is, by everybody's estimation, was going to be, and I will not spoil whether he was or not if you don't already know the results, but he is expected to be the tournament winner at this stage. And so I'll give you guys a bit of floating tension as to whether he ends up being the victor at the end of this or not. We are seeing a barracks opener after supply depot, so nothing too crazy out of Father. Try to keep an eye on Styker's build. Went for an Overlord first. It looks like he is going to go for an 11 hatch off the bat. Is that actually going to be a... No, he's got the SCV or the drones queued up. He's going to go for an 11 hatch. In the bottom right, we'll try to get gas timing. Overlord going to the top right hand corner initially, and Father starting to make his way out for Scout. He hasn't grabbed gas, so it doesn't look like he's going to opt for mech. Interestingly, leaving... so going for the barracks on the high ground rather than going for the seal on the low ground. I was interested why players opt to do that, particularly on this map. Maybe just get that extra timing for anything trying to run its way up. SCV making its way top left. A drone now scouting. Is it going to go cross map? Yeah, checking cross map. Also making sure that there's nothing midline. A very rapid gas here from Styker. Spawning pool as well. And I think the meta build at this stage has been you get 7 mutalisks as rapidly as you can. Oftentimes will make your way up to 9 unless you're doing particularly well with them. Start swatting turrets, and then you fill in lurker tech from there, or sometimes opt to go more crazy Zerg. Styker finding Father's base, taking a little bit damage on that drone and pulling back. Double SCV scout, by the way, for Father. I'm curious if he's planning on going for aggression. I would actually be really impressed if he opted for aggression and wanted to try to drop a bunker here against Father's base. SCV in position to go ahead and grab that. We have 2 Marines filing out on the low ground. SCV making its way forward is able to confirm the layer timing, which is at a blazing 252. And SCV drawing its way back. Now, check the build order here from Father. He's got the expansion on the way, is grouping up some Marines. Oftentimes, you'll see a little bit of off-tempo aggression with this. Only 2 Zerglings being constructed thus far from Styker, which I'm a little bit shocked by because he doesn't have eyes at all on Father. The Zerglings making the way out on the map, just going to leave the SCV in place right this second. Now the Marines starting to make the way out onto the map. Is Styker going to see it is the next question. Okay, I think he saw the edge right there. These Zerglings going to spot, going to end up losing their lives as well. So Styker's going to have to invest. Might invest in a sunken colony. Zerglings engaging that SCV right this second. Third Zergling making its way back. Might have to buy a little bit of time. We'll see how this micros out. We got 6 Zergling. It looks like Father not going to risk it. He actually had the superior count right there. Styker dropping the Spire, by the way. Drawing back. Is that Overlord at risk as well is the next question. Yeah, it's going to go ahead and make its way out. Spotting the Marines retreating. And Zerglings flooding back out on the map. Want to try to find that SCV. We do have a very... Honestly, this feels pretty late for gas here. Academy as well for Father. I think he was keeping eyes on those Zerglings. He's getting... he's got the second barracks in fairly good time. However, I could be wrong on that, by the way. But anyway, SCV wiped out on the front. Spire about halfway finished. We have the eBay on top of it to be in sufficient time. Here's the Academy. We'll wait for it. More Marines starting to scoot forward. Want to wipe out these Zerglings on the front. This is 8 Marines. A Knight sitting back. Styker sitting in mid position. Second gas up. And also grabbing that base top right. This is the build order I've seen Kudos pull off as well. Spire's nearly finished, and I do not see the engineering bay queued up. Father's playing very risky here. And piled up a lot of Marines. It does not have... Okay, this is going to be the first medic out. I'm wondering if he's going to have to play pressure with those Marines to buy himself some time to get the turrets out. I think he's also just not used +1 weapons being upgraded. I'm not sure that he's accustomed to the speed at which this is kind of what the same thing happened to Exit, I think, in his game, where Exit was just surprised by how fast things are out. Yeah, the engineering bay is not even finished. The Mutalisks are queued up. Usually you want the turrets being built as the Mutalisks are just being queued. So this is going to be late. Yeah, I think Father making his Marines a menace out on the map to try to create a distraction, probably buy himself some time. Already 8 Mutalisks queued up, by the way. That SCV is going to get wiped out on the front, but this is also presenting a lot of targets. Zerglings were able to scoot by and get a few kills, by the way, running into the main, and this is going to make it even harder to get those turrets up. So Mutalisks in flight, starting to gather. We already have 6 out on the map. Turrets about halfway constructed. Interesting here from Styker. Styker's looking for something, was expecting maybe a proxy. So rather than getting aggressive against Father's front, is actually just trying to hunt down that army and figure out where it went potentially. He's split his Mutalisks all over the map. Interesting. And his regathering is going to actually take a pretty solid hit. But with that spread, that actually buys time for Father to get the turrets established. He was, honestly, I thought, potentially in trouble right there. That being said, we have the Mutalisks. The Mutalisk micro just now starting to take play. Father trying to move out on the map to draw the Mutalisks back. Styker sitting in the gap, Styker taking a few hits right there. Third gas already up in very, very rapid grab. Zerg, take note. See how quickly that base was up, that gas. He practically was building that gas before it was finished, able to snipe a medic along that edge. It looks like he's going to go crazy Zerg in the midst of this. He's skipping... Yeah, they're going to skip the Hydralisk Den altogether, which is going to put additional pressure, potentially, to defend against these Marines. Overlord taking a bit of damage on that edge. Do we have any sunken colonies? No sunken colonies as well. And Father's troops fairly deep, so Styker relying very, very heavily on his Mutalisk micro. Father is sticking rather than pressing forward, which means he, doesn't need to drop it. 4 Mutalisks waiting in the wings, potentially. Well, the 9 Mutalisks doing what they can. Hydralisk Den is being built, Lurker Aspect top right, a Queen's Nest top right as well. And what's kind of interesting about this build on top of everything else is it also kind of postures. It looks like all-in Mutalisk a bit off the 2 hatchery, if you get eyes on it. If you don't find that third base, you would potentially be none the wiser, as a side note. Anyway, Styker continuing to micro against this ball. Looks like the 4 barracks are going to be established. We have nice timing on the double starport here from Father. Thing is Styker's just been really, really crisp and has really been macroing well. And you can see his supply is already surpassing Father. That just shows you, and that's honestly, it's just Styker being a macro beast is what that comes down to. Hydralisk on the front, Evolution Chamber down. We don't have that queued up. Hive on the way as well. We are going to have Science Vessels out fairly quickly, but the problem is Styker's just... Yeah, his macro's been fantastic, and he's just been slotting Marines. Getting a lot of Marine and medic kills on top of it with that just superb Mutalisk micro. Top right mining very fashionably for him. He's got the 2 Hydralisks right there if he needs them. He's got 5 Hydralisks that he could turn into Lurkers. Sorry, four of them become, the other one just sits. No, never mind, he just is late. He's that guy who shows up at the party fashionably late. He's got to be the cool one. I'm not sure that Father... If he pressed across the map right this second and just ignored the Mutalisk, I don't think he was going to get there in time to do anything about these Lurkers. And he's not just going to press across that map with everything that Styker has been threatening with. +1 weapons complete, by the way. You see how quickly these turrets melt in the midst of this, and that's going to leave Father in a, very vulnerable spot. More SCVs getting picked off. 2 Mutalisks were picked off. 8 still remain. 5th racks being added on. Do we have the Science Vessels queued up as of yet? We do have the Science Facility. Okay, now we're queuing up those Science Vessels. But Hive Tech already finished. And the Defiler Mound is going to be not that far behind. Nidus Canal being established first. Big medic marine ball out on the map, starting to bully things away. And the Mutalisk just kind of harassing them and creating some time right this second, as the second evolution chamber or defiler mound being dropped. I think Styker, yeah, we're at the 10-minute mark. We don't have it. Ooh, bad maneuver there on Striker's part, flying. I've done that many, many times. So it makes me feel better that Styker does it too. Still, Father, despite he's got a slight supply lead right this second, but, and it looks like he is going to force out a sunken colony, but there's still 5 lurkers, and he doesn't have 3 science vessels to drop a radiate right this second. Still going to need to build energy to do so. We got 4 lurkers top right. Again, both of these locations fairly well defended. Nice little spot for that Overlord to scout everything across the way, and this is all providing time for Consume, which is steadily with its nice little dragon spiral thing-majig pattern. Eggs getting opened up because Striker's going to want to get active on the map and turn this right back around as soon as he has the opportunity. He also has the option shortly, now that he has the Nidus, to just go ahead and cap this top right-hand corner gas. A couple Zerglings scooting through, seeing that army incoming. Defiler at the near corner. Consume maybe not going to be ready, and the Lurker's actually pulling their way back. Interestingly enough here for Styker, they're opening up the egg. Never mind, they're all piled underneath here. I almost fell for it. I'm wondering if Father's going to fall for it. Yeah, he's diving forward. He's like, nope, nothing on the field, just... And can he get the irradiate? It's so hard to click that irradiate. And Consume done. Didn't even get the opportunity. Another army making its way top right. We already have a Defiler in position. Oops, sorry. The Defiler in position there. Another hatchery being built at the main. And Father now on a clock. And he hasn't really been able to... He's got irradiates in that he can expend, but hasn't been able to drop them. And honestly, I don't know that he's done a sufficient job thus far. Is picking up on the macro, but he hasn't really taxed Striker's gas. Is doing a good job of grabbing the 6 o'clock location, knowing that this is going to be a longer game. Is starting to stage up to hopefully get a good contain so he can just continually drop irradiates. It looks like he did get 2 irradiates on the lurkers to the corner. Going to go for the easy target. Just look at that positioning. How do you, like, I'm trying to click on the lurkers right there. There I managed to. It's like impossible. And if you can imagine that, like in a pressure situation where you got to drop it and then peel back. Zerglings camping near the corners just in case some dropships were going to field their way. Defiler's out. I am curious what the... It looks like Plague also being upgraded. As I was about to say, like, I'm wondering what the maneuver here, the trigger timing is going to be here for Father. Irradiated. A good spread. But unfortunately still eating a good amount of Plague, and it looks like a medic's gonna sit back and be overeager and expend a lot of its energy here. 4 dropships making their way out here for Father. That could be a lot to deal with. Styker is ahead on workers, which is scary. Father's got a good supply gap to work with here. If he scoops up a lot of the Marines, we have some area where it's possible to drop. The problem is the vision is finding the vision to do it. By the way, Ultra's Cavern complete behind this for Styker. So science vessels along the corner. Does Styker respond in time? Not sure they did. So gets one, doesn't get a hit right there. Drops a Dark Swarm. The Mutalisk's that's actually gonna help the Marines if they can get under it. Troops repositioning. Big Plague on everything top right, so that's gonna get cleaned up. The Marines able to get on the drone line briefly, but get cleaned up otherwise, and a really strong defense there from Styker. He's also going to be able to chase down those science vessels and those dropships and pop them to boot before losing the Mutalisks. Brutal, brutal. Strong defense there from Styker. I think he lost 2 drones. Nothing else. A single dropship with a single Marine in it. Sitting on top of the hive watching all this happen. Where's the Ultra's Cavern? It's around here someplace. Sunken Colony being dropped top right just in case it's sitting at the natural. Yeah, Styker's going to be able to field a couple Ultralisks very shortly. And that count's going to continue to grow. Another drop top right. Do we have units peeling through currently? It looks like units got cleaned up on the forward field. Some drones are going to die as a result of this, but Styker has some drones to work with. It looks like Defiler and Lurker on the low ground gonna get cleaned up. And Styker does show an Ultralisk, at least. Right now, Father's running out of opportunities. If he had one more expansion, I would feel better about his options. He is getting some additional barracks up, but right now Styker has a supply lead. He's got a lot of upgrades to work with. The level 2 armor carapace, by the way, versus level 2 weapons, which means these Zerglings don't even need the Darkstorm support to pick off Marines in near 1-to-1 scenarios. Ultralisk's going to go ahead and get some damage done as well and clear that out. And Styker, yeah, just starting to move out on the map and clear everything. Single drone just walking right past that Marine. Is he going to get it? Yeah, he's going to be able to drop before that Marine's able to catch him as well. It was heroic. Attempted a racer trick, but Burrow was already researched in the top right. And so Eraser not accomplishing anything except wasting 2 irradiates, it looks like, which is unfortunate. More science vessels making their way across. At least it was able to halt things briefly. A bunch of Scourge have been produced as well. Yeah, so the science vessel count getting ripped. Zerglings starting to filter in here to the 6 o'clock alongside Styker's Ultralisks. And this was a key base to hold for Father, so Styker now starting to clean up on this match. But I gotta say, Father played pretty well, all things considered. Let's see if it looks like he's gonna try to group repair that bunker. More Zerglings fielding in. These Zerglings being real lazy in this fight. And science vessels trying to retreat as Scourge are hot on their heels. There's GG. Styker takes game 1. And, well, I'm trying to remember, I think game 2 will be played on Polestar. So look forward to it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Can't talk all of a sudden. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.